Welcome to another episode with your chapter crush sweetheart. This is Everblue Presents When You're Enough, a chapter crush sweetheart series. Michelle, Chapter 2. If you don't take risks, you can't create a future. One Piece. 1 hour ago. I have never enjoyed visiting New York City. It's smelly, likely due to all of the trash littering the streets, and it sits in a cloud of pollution so thick I could see it from the plane. How do people live like this? Getting a taxi at the airport was ridiculous. A fight nearly broke out in front of me between a taxi driver and a passenger who wanted to put a suitcase in the front seat. Heaving a sigh, I closed my eyes to remember why I'm here and waited for the queue to move forward. The woman in front of me kept turning around to complain about the queue, but she couldn't decide whether or not she wanted to roll her eyes or smile becomingly. Unfortunately, she settled on both, twirling the ends of her straight red hair, while I actively worked to avoid eye contact and say as little as possible. After waking up at 5:30 in the morning and driving to the airport in Genève from my little town across the French border, I then flew to Dublin, where I had a 2-hour layover. That was before flying nearly 8 hours to get to JFK Airport, waiting for my luggage, which now has a wobbly wheel, and standing in immigration and custom queues for over an hour. So, hopefully, the woman forgave my lack of indulgence. As soon as I put my luggage in the back of the taxi and stuck my foot inside, the driver, Muhammad, according to the license, started the meter. I sent a message to my new roommate to let her know I was on the way as a courtesy. It's not something I would typically do, but the woman even worried if I could manage my luggage from the airport. When the driver asked where I was going but didn't have a GPS to engage, I sighed. Hello, Muhammad. I'm going to Manhattan, Edgar Allan Poe Street between Weston Avenue and Riverside Drive. Please take the Van Wyck to Grand Central, then take the FDR to 97th Street and cut across Central Park. Muhammad swore in Arabic. Apparently, I'm an idiot who can't tell him how to do his job. When I responded in Arabic that if God wills, I won't have to do his job, he smiled. Where are you from, my friend? For a good portion of the hour-long ride, he told me about his family back home in Syria, about the bombing of his hometown and his treacherous journey to get to America. I nodded along, asking more questions. I don't switch to his Yemeni dialect, nor do I let on that I know with great certainty that the particular city in Syria he spoke of as being his hometown is still completely intact. What I do acknowledge, when he asked how I learned Arabic, with the police. His eyes widened as he straightened up and nervously looked at me in the rearview mirror. French police? He asked, his voice rising an octave. Was it a slight understatement? Yes, but for my intents and purposes, I didn't need to inform him of my background in the Groupe d'Intervention de la Gendarmerie Nationale, or GIGN. Sure, saying Special Forces would have given it more weight, but it's a little much. So I gave a brisk nod, to which he whistled, and didn't speak another word until we crossed Central Park. Even then, it was only to ask if he should continue to Riverside Drive. As he navigated the tree-lined streets, painted gold in the light of the setting sun, I noticed how different this neighborhood feels compared to Midtown. For one thing, it could be called charming. My last 2 trips to New York for conferences meant staying in a tiny Midtown hotel room. It was noisy and bright, even in the middle of the night. Yet, as we turned down the street with another large park, it's almost peaceful. I have to admit it's not what I expected. When my superior, the general counsel for an international auditing firm, agreed to let me work in the States for a year due to a family emergency, it was under the condition that when I returned, I'd finally accept the role of Deputy General Counsel. I may be bold, but I've been happy in my role as senior counsel in the Genève branch in the year since I transitioned out of the JAG Corps. Yet my friend Ben, who happens to be the CFO, has been hinting for months that he'd like me to help with oversight of operations throughout Europe. When I agreed with the condition of limited travel, Ben smiled broadly and agreed to reach out to his contact in the New York office to see if they can assist me with finding housing. Since this isn't a move sanctioned by the company, I have to pay for everything myself, but it's more than worth it. Little did I realize when his contact, the VP of HR in the New York office, Samantha Ferrer, reached out, she would have bad news. Apparently, there wasn't much she could do within my budget for the Upper West Side neighborhood I needed to be in, nor in the neighboring areas. I had completed a search for 2 bedrooms myself and come to the same conclusion the day before, but I refused to give in. When I told her I would take anything, even a room in someone's house, I couldn't believe my eyes when her email came back a few minutes later. Samantha knew of a woman, Bronwyn Sullivan, who worked in accounting at the New York office. She was looking for a roommate, she lived in the neighborhood I requested, and the start date would need to be before 1st September. And the best part? The 3 bedroom apartment was well below budget, even when accounting for the utilities which are shared. Normally, I absolutely wouldn't choose to room with anyone, and especially not a single woman. My ex-wife, Yvette, has cured me of any desire to get to know other women, yet she's also the reason why I'm in this predicament. When she called last month to say she was taking a modeling job in New York for the next year, I was completely dumbfounded. I couldn't have foreseen this plot twist when we divorced a year ago, yet here we are. I don't care where in the world she ends up, except we share joint custody of our 5-year-old daughter, Dorian, and Yvette is the principal caregiver. Apparently, our daughter was learning English the whole past year as a surprise to Papa. Well, color me not surprised that Yvette knew about this job for a long time, yet only told me a few weeks before moving. I didn't understand how Yvette could uproot Dorian that way when she's to begin kindergarten in September. We argued fiercely for half an hour before she finally told me the paperwork was already filed with the courts to temporarily change their primary residence. So, when I received Bronwyn's information after confirming the number of rooms and having my stipulation added to allow for visitation of my daughter on a bi-weekly basis, I was assured I would be able to see the pictures before signing the lease. The apartment appeared neither too girly nor too small, unlike many other listings I'd seen in the area, so despite my misgivings, I said a prayer and hoped for the best. It's only a year. I can do anything for a year. Then Dorian and I can get back home. After having Mohammed drop me off 2 buildings away, I'm pleasantly surprised by the quiet tree-lined street as I walk back towards the building. I can actually hear birds whistling over the distant sound of horns from the avenue. Maybe this won't be so bad after all. The building itself is of large, white stone construction, and as I approach the green awning, a uniformed gentleman steps forward. He's mid-50s, salt and pepper hair, about 175 centimeters, and judging from the way his belly protrudes over his belt, I'd say he's slightly overweight. Still, his dark eyes are no nonsense, even as he smiles. Good evening, I greet him. Evening, sir. Can I help you with your luggage? I shake my head. No, thank you. He holds the door, following as I step inside. Who are you visiting? He asks, crossing the short gold and black tiled foyer to a modest reception desk. Cream, marble wall tiles, and individual lit paintings give the area a warmth that would otherwise be missing. 8B, Bronwyn Sullivan, I respond, shooting her a text to let her know I've arrived. He nods as he opens a leather book, finds what he's looking for, and looks up at me. Your name? Michel Renard. His face scrunches in confusion before he asks for identification. After I present my passport, he hands it back with a grin. Thank you, Mr. Renard. Miss Sullivan informed us you're moving in today. I'm sure she'll give you the grand tour, but all packages and deliveries come here. I lock the packages in that room, he says, hiking a thumb towards a door behind him, until you or Miss Sullivan comes downstairs to sign them out. Gesturing to 2 prominent window-style doors that open to a large lobby, sparsely decorated with tables and a few green armchairs on a small cream rug. It adds, elevators to your right, the stairs and mailboxes are to the left. This desk is manned 24 hours by 6 doormen. My name's Frank. I'm here from 4 p.m. to 1 a.m., usually Monday to Friday, but as you can see, on the occasional weekend too. I give him a nod as I take hold of my suitcase. Nice to meet you, Frank. Thank you for the introduction. He gives a sharp look. My pleasure, Mr. Renard. We want all of our residents to feel safe, but Miss Sullivan is a really nice girl. Any one of us 6 doormen would do anything to ensure her safety. Immediately taking his meaning, I extend my hand. That makes 7 of us. Frank smirks as he firmly shakes my hand. That's what I like to hear. Have a good evening. You too, Frank. I nod as I steer my suitcase around the desk into the lobby. Now that I'm so close to sleep, my eyes feel like they're full of sand, so I opt for the stairs. Despite the size of my suitcase, it's light, so I make it to the 8th floor in no time. As soon as I turn left on the landing of the stone steps, I see a bay on the first green door. Perfect. Adjusting my shirt, I press the button next to the door and wait. And wait some more. Behind me, a door unlocks and opens, but there are no steps to indicate anyone exited the apartment, and I hear nothing on the other side of 8B. I frown. Did she step out? I ring again, and that's when I hear a melodious voice call out, sir? I spin around to see a woman, approximately 165 centimeters, curvy but fit, late 20s, long, curly black hair, parted to the side as she continues. You might have the wrong part. She abruptly stops speaking, and the once-over she gives me. I shrug off the goosebumps that follow, remembering my roommate said something about 2 doors before. I hope this isn't Bronwyn? I ask, my hope of a denial obliterated when she slowly nods. Zoot. I chuckle. Of course my roommate is the most beautiful. Shoving that thought down, I begin rolling my suitcase down the long hallway. I'm sorry, I forgot there are 2 entrances. I took the stairs, so I didn't realize that was the back door. Her brows shoot up and shaking her head, she says, It's okay. I'm sorry. Most deliverymen leave their packages downstairs with the doorman. And you took the stairs. I'll make sure to leave a great review. I'm unable to focus on the fact she thinks I'm the delivery man because I've reached her side and wow, she isn't wearing an ounce of makeup, not even a pair of earrings, but she is gorgeous. Yvette couldn't set foot out of the bedroom without her bare minimum of a full face and wearing nearly every piece of jewelry she owns. Now, why am I comparing her to my ex-wife? The thought puts me on edge, so I shake my head and reach for the first thing I can think of. Of course, la bise. Taking Bronwyn's slim hand in mine, I lean forward to give her 3 rapid air kisses and immediately regret it as the smell of lavender and berries gently rises to greet me. When I lean away, her coffee brown eyes sparkle back at me, and I try not to flinch. This is not a good sign. Do you need something else? I ask, wondering what more I'm supposed to do to gain entry. She slowly blinks, and when she looks at the bags around me, I begin wondering if we were supposed to do a drug test. She doesn't seem like an addict, but her slow responses are unnerving. Would it be too much to ask before I have Dorian stay here? I'm sorry, she smiles, although it's a bit off. For some reason, I thought you were delivering something. You're... I nod as her voice trails off once more. I am Michel Renard, your new roommate. Is it okay if I come in? An expression I'm going to call a oh no expression flits across her face before she purses her lips and shakes her head. Is it okay if I see your ID, some identification first, please? Nodding in agreement, I reach into my back pocket. Of course. As I hand it to her, I quietly muse that I've had to identify myself more times in this country than crossing from France to Switzerland this morning. Oh, is that yesterday now? Yes, it is. It's 1 in the morning in France. In counterterrorism and hostage recovery, you work all hours on very little sleep, but I suppose my body isn't used to it anymore. Realizing she's been staring at my passport for a full minute, I bemusedly ask, "Did you find what you were looking for?" As she slowly raises her head, I notice her "oh no" face has become an "oh zut" expression. That can't be good. She nervously swallows as she hands the passport to me. "Please, come inside." Finally. As she steps aside to hold the door, I pick up my suitcase, stepping into a cool, lavender-scented, generous-sized foyer with the same gold and black floor tile and tall ceilings that grace the lobby. Paintings of musical instruments and stills of fruit and vegetables line the green walls of a short hallway on the left that ends with 3 doors. There's one door to the right of the foyer and a large archway in the wall to the right of us. Gesturing to the archway, Bronwyn's face twists like someone embarking on an unpleasant journey. "You can leave your luggage here and follow me." Sitting my attaché case on top of my suitcase, I look down at her slippered feet. Should I take my shoes off? Her eyes flicker to a small pair of slippers that sit beneath a bench behind the door, but she shakes her head. "I prefer shoes off, but I don't have slippers for you." "I have socks," I shrug, sitting on the bench. As I pull off my shoes, flexing my feet, I groan at how good that feels, and when I catch the surprised look on her face, I grimace. Long day. Bronwyn's cheeks, the color of lightly caramelized brown sugar, flush in one red stripe across the bridge of her nose as she clears her throat, saying, "This way." Following Elle through the archway, the floors are properly changed to a lacquered hardwood that shines beneath the warm light of the table lamps that are just coming on. The large room, with a full wall of south-facing floor-to-ceiling windows, provides enough sunlight to sustain the giant ficus plant on the wall to my right. Nearly a meter taller than me, its broad, deep green leaves impressively stretch towards the ceiling. Beneath the windows, 4 gold upholstered armchairs face each other over a small mahogany table on top of a cream and green rug that nearly runs the full 6-meter length of the room. Same distance between the 2 doors outside. Behind the chairs sits a plush dark green sofa and chaise with the deepest seats I've ever seen. Several more pieces of mahogany furniture sprinkled throughout the room are topped with either lamps or small plants. The room ends at 2 dark green accordion doors that open to a large furnished dining room and another much narrower door to the right. "Care to take a seat?" Bronwyn asks in a tone that seems firmer than the occasion calls for. As I sink into one of the armchairs, I sigh. It's so comfortable, but seeing the look of sheer determination on Bronwyn's face, I'm instantly filled with adrenaline. Either there's a problem or there's going to be one. "You have a beautiful apartment," I venture. "It seems safe." "Thank you. Can I get you something to drink?" Water is fine. Thanks." She starts in the direction of the sofa but turns around abruptly. "Still or sparkling?" "Sparkling," I reply, more than a little surprised that she has the choice available. When she disappears from the room through the swinging door on the right, I take a deep breath. I feel as if I'm in ordnance training all over again, and I'm flooded by jitters as I wonder what the problem is. Outside, the sun has set, but the sky is streaked in purple, pink, and orange. Is Dorian looking at the colors of the sky tonight? I'll ask her tomorrow. I haven't seen my darling in 3 weeks, so the thought of seeing her in a few short hours makes me smile. At that moment, Bronwyn comes swinging through the door, bearing a glass and a small green bottle. She doesn't look at me as she crosses the room, setting the glass on the table in front of me. When she unseals the bottle, I stop her from pouring as I gently take it from her. "Allow me." "Thank you." She nods and sits across from me, her spine straight as a board as I pour the water into the crystal tumbler and take a sip. It isn't as crisp as I like, but it's certainly appreciated. "Thanks, I needed that," I sigh after draining the glass. "So what is the problem and how can we solve it?" Bronwyn nervously tugs the sleeves of her golden yellow sweatshirt over her hands as she takes a deep breath. "I'm sorry, you must be exhausted. We can talk tomorrow." My brows rise at the unexpected turn the conversation took. Not one to shy away from problems, I wait until she makes eye contact before saying, "There's obviously a problem, so it's better to work it out now. Otherwise, how will we get a good night of sleep?" "Ah," she stalls, blinking rapidly. "That's true. But, wow, I really don't know how to say this. I sit back with his eye. Just say what you need to say, ma chérie. The sooner the better. She frowns, and just when I think I have to explain chérie isn't a romantic term, she spits it out. I don't think I'll be able to fulfill the lease. Then, in the ensuing silence, she exclaims, I'm sorry. My brows wrinkle. What?